when we're talking about a journey to enlightenment and finding inner peace and that sort of jazz and all that kind of shit that, you want in your life to make you feel happy, I've found for myself that Stoic philosophies and Stoicism and all of that kind of shit has actually helped me out a lot. And recently I've been looking into this stuff a lot more than I used to. Before I started this channel, I was actually thinking about basing it heavily on this subject, but then I sort of diverted down a different path which was more passionate to me. But recently I've been looking a lot into this philosophy, Stoicism kind of things, and I've gotten a couple books here which I've read, am reading, or know about that I believe will help you out a lot if you want to sort of learn about this kind of stuff. But briefly, what is Stoicism? Like, what is the Stoic philosophy stuff? If you don't already know what it is, it's actually, I think it's getting a lot more popular nowadays, which is a pretty good thing because it's not an unhealthy practice. But to summarize it all really briefly, it's basically not letting things you can't control bother you, like the fact that there's about to be a plane flying over this video. That's something that I can't control. I can't control when planes are going to fly over me recording my damn videos and stuff. And God, that shit pisses me off so much. But it's something in Stoic philosophy and that kind of stuff. You want to not get bothered by these things. You have to understand that it's not in your control, and to not worry about it or get super pissed off by it, and just let it be as it is. Another principle they talk about heavily is justice, but to put that in a modern sort of context, it's basically differentiating the good from the bad and making the right choice. So that's something like choosing to, I don't know, eat the eggs instead of eating the fucking pizza, or choosing to read a book instead of playing video games or watching porn. And the third point of Stoic philosophy is, if I can just remember it, what it is. Those are the only two that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm really sorry, I didn't think that through. But it's basically making the right choices, knowing what's right and wrong, and not getting pissed off by all of these outside things. And there's many more things that they speak about, but the big two ones are just those two. And a book that I've been reading a lot is, well, not a lot, but I started reading this one very recently, and I'm currently reading through it, is Epictetus, who's To Sorceries and Selected Writings. I'm not an expert. I don't actually know how to say that, but that's just a guess of what it says. So I've been reading this book, and it's been good. There's some things in here which I've read and I just don't fucking understand, but there's a lot of other things that I've read in here which have helped me out a lot, and I've thought about it and I've gone, oh, well, that's actually pretty good, and I'm trying to apply that to my own life. But if you are going to look into this, the easier book for Epictetus is his Enchiridion, which it turns out that Enchiridion also translates to manual, so the guy literally wrote this as a manual. It's a really short book. It's 50 pages or something. You could read it in less than a day, but for me, I was reading just one little chapter every single day. It was less than a page. It was just simple, and it's a great one for a lot of things. One thing that really stood out to me, which I'm pretty sure it was in this book, was the line sort of went, imagine that you're at a banquet and that everything is getting passed around the table. You're not reaching out over the table and snatching someone else's dish and then taking it for yourself and then handing it back to them. You're waiting as it gets passed around the table, and then when it comes to you, you take enough to make yourself happy, and then you pass it on to the next person. And that analogy in life is sort of, when you think about it like this, you don't want to try and rush through things, and you're not trying to like go and take all of this stuff, but rather you're just letting nature or the universe or God, whatever you want to call it, bring it to you as intended. Not you just going, grabbing it and trying to rush these things and doing all of this other random shit, but just letting nature have its way. And you sort of like adapt to that and stuff like, that sort of thing. The Enchiridion and De Sorceries and Selected Writings, both by Epictetus. The first Stoic fucking philosophy book that I read it's a really big one, everyone knows it, The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. There's a lot of translations of this one out there, but I would highly recommend getting the Gregory Hayes one, because it's the only one that actually makes fucking sense. So make sure you search up Marcus Aurelius Meditations, Gregory Hayes translation. Gregory Hayes, like that. And if you get the one with the bird, same copy, everything, that's perfect, because this one, for me, when I read it, it just made the most sense. I bought this other edition before, and I was trying to read it. I didn't understand what the hell I was reading, but the Gregory Hayes, it makes a lot more sense, and it's better. So this one is not like a book or like a guide. It's actually Marcus Aurelius' like personal journal. Some guys, I don't know what it is, they just found it and they published it into this book, The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. He'd probably be really pissed off if he found out that his journal has been read by millions, but it's an incredible thing. You can take lessons from the guy, so you can see what he's trying to teach himself, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. I'm going to try apply that into my own life. And you're also sort of like learning from others' mistakes and all of that kind of stuff. So The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius is another great book that you could also start with or do whatever. The last book, second last book that I haven't read this one. I've really just heard about it. Seneca, Letters from a Stoic. I don't really know much about this. I can't say much, but there are a lot of other people on YouTube who have spoken about it, but I just want to stick this title out there so you can see it and maybe do your own research about it if you like the sound of this one. But I've heard a lot of things that it's a good book and stuff, which is why I bought it. I just haven't fucking read it yet, because you could say I'm a tired ass, but there are a lot of other books that I have that I've been reading, and this one I'll probably start it after I finish Epictetus's book. But yeah, so far haven't read this. I've just heard about it, and I've heard many good things about it. The last book, which I almost forgot about but just remembered, is Plato of the Republic. I haven't read this one either. In fact, I just bought this one. I got this like a few days ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago or something. So I haven't read it, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm pretty sure, here it is, the classic translation of the cornerstone of Western philosophy. So you can pause that and read it if you want. But yeah, I haven't read it, but I'm pretty sure that what it is Plato is trying to find justice. So what I said before, like differentiating the good and the bad, I'm pretty sure that's the whole idea of this book. And it's sort of like having conversations with all of these other people, and they're like objecting to his ideas, giving him ideas, and he's like shutting them down and giving out his ideas. It's like all of this kind of stuff. It's like a conversation. Again, I haven't read it. I don't know much about it, but I heard this one is also really good. So yeah, those are like the 6 books that I've got on philosophy, Stoic philosophy, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I found that philosophy has been an excellent way for me in my life to sort of get more peace and be happier with myself. And I've been obviously not going to show you what it says, but I get out my journal, and especially after reading The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, it sort of helped me structure my own journal in the same way. If you see, he's got his journals and he just lists, and it's listed like, 9, 10, 11, and they're just all of like these different entries. I sort of set up my journal on the same. I just open it up on the day. I just write down the date at the top, and then whatever entry it is, I write down 1, 2, 3, and I just go, whether it's a short entry or whether it's slightly longer, or I'm trying to find or whether I'm seriously like talking about something long, going in depth into whatever. I hope you didn't see that. And yeah, so it sort of helped me structure out the way I journal and do my own things, and I try to write down every single day some sort of philosophy thing. It sort of serves as like a reminder to yourself. It's like a lifestyle. So it's like you write down on your journal, you sort of remind yourself of what are the good things, what are the bad things. I write down, I don't want to look at big gym girls' ass today. I don't want to. Or you write down, I don't want to, scroll on social media. And you say, instead, I'd rather be reading and, meditating and, I don't know, journaling or doing whatever fucking healthy habit you like doing that isn't like a complete detriment to your life. And I found that when I've been doing this, as I've been researching more about it and, reading more and just looking more into this philosophy and applying it into my life, I've found that it's just a lot more peaceful. It's a lot better. And it's a great tool that you can use in your life to better it. Not necessarily like something you can say and you can, pick up all of these fucking books and go, oh, I've read so many philosophy books. I'm very wise now. It's not like something you want to be like that. It's like you sort of read these books and you get like an idea of what it's about, and you sort of go, okay, I'm going to use the strategies that these guys were talking about like 3,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago, and I'm going to use this in my own life because, this shit worked back then and it still works today. And I find that just doing that has made me a much happier person, and it's brought me into a much more peaceful state. And yeah, so that's a tool that you can use in your life too. I'll just run through all the books again, and not the order. I'll do it in the order that I read them, actually. The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, that was the first one I read. I then read The Incan by Epictetus. Then I'm currently reading Sorceries and Selected Writings by Epictetus. And, well, I bought Seneca, Letters from a Stoic first. And this is the most recent one, Plato, The Republic. Make sure when you get the fucking meditations, you get the Gregory Hayes translation if you are going to buy it, and not just watch this video and then skip on to the next one. If you're actually going to take action and do that, then you're probably going to find you're living a much happier life in about 3 months from now. But if you're just going to the next video and the next one, you're not going to do anything, you're probably going to find 3 months from now, you're going to look back and you're going to go, fuck, in January, my life was pretty shit. In April, it's still pretty shit. Whereas you can be looking back and going, in January, wasn't the best, but now in April, I'm feeling so much happier and this year's going great. So, yeah. Buy those books, read them, fucking find a PDF online, do whatever, just get those books and read them, learn about philosophy, and make sure to journal, whatever. Because when I did it, it worked. So it'll probably work for you too, as it has with millions of others. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.